Hello, we have a lot to talk about. I honestly didn't think I'd be filming this video this year. It's been a hectic couple of months, let's say. Before we get into the video, please like and subscribe if you haven't already. And yeah, let's get started. I'm sure the reason why most of you probably clicked on this video is the first bit of news is that I now have a boyfriend. That sounds very strange for me to say. If you're new around here or you just don't know me very well, I've never actually been in a relationship before. I have dated a few guys in the past, but nothing's ever gone past like 2 months. So the fact I actually have an actual boyfriend now, I'm still adjusting, but as well, I haven't said too much about it online. I've spoken a bit about it on TikTok, but one of the main reasons I haven't really put it on Instagram or YouTube is I actually haven't told my dad yet, or like some family members don't know, and I'd rather they find out through me, not through my social media. So when this goes up, I'll probably told my dad by that point. But yeah, that is the main bit of news. I'm not going to talk too much about him or the relationship. I just feel like for the moment I'm going to try and keep it kind of private, private but not secret. So I'll say how we met, because I'm sure everyone's very curious. Again, I have done like a full video on it on TikTok. I don't have any family members on TikTok, so I share quite a lot on there. So we met, so he messaged me on the 31st of August saying he really liked my TikTok videos. So he found my TikTok first and messaged me on Instagram. Then within like a few messages, he asked me out really quickly, and I was like, oh, it's a little bit soon. We've only been talking like a day. And he said, oh, the reason why I've asked you out so quickly is because he was going on holiday for 2 weeks. So I said, oh, I wasn't quite ready yet. It was like the summer, obviously I was busy, and like even at work in September, I work at university, so it was really busy at work. It wasn't quite the right time. So anyway, he went on holiday, then I was away in September as well. So we were still talking fairly regularly in September. We started voice noting each other. It felt more like friendly than flirty, which, as I said, I had no issues with. I enjoyed talking to him. So that was September. And then we actually met on the 7th of October, I believe was our first date. We just went for drinks. He asked me out, oh, like, are you free this day to go out for a drink? I was like, yeah, sure, whatever. And it was actually the day I had my COVID jab. And I remember I didn't really feel that well. I was like, oh, it's just a drink. Like, I'm not doing anything else. It's a Friday night. I'm not doing anything. I'll just go out for a drink with this guy. If it goes to shit, I'll just put a story on TikTok about it, you know? Like, as I said, my expectations were so low. Because, as I said, I've never been in a relationship before. Everything I've ever had with a guy has always just fizzled out or whatever. So, yeah, I didn't really think much of it. I just thought it was experience. You know, let's just go in with like a kind of open mind, but not too high a standard. So, met him, really good first impression. As I said, it was meant to be just a drink. We ended up staying out for like 4 hours. And yeah, since then we've been seeing each other really regularly. Things have developed a bit more, and obviously, as I said, never been in a relationship before. I was quite anxious about each different step, and he's been amazing through it all. Oh, excuse the dog. He has been great through it all. And then last Friday, when I'm filming this, which was the 25th of November, we went to Winter Wonderland in London, and that's when he asked me to be his girlfriend, and obviously I said yes. So there we go, that's the story of us. Yeah, kind of, it was nice that it was like, actually he's the first guy I've ever dated who's not come from a dating app, so that's really refreshing. And yeah, it did feel like it happened fairly organically, even though we did meet online. As I said, I felt like the first few days I thought, oh, but I think we're just kind of friends. But I said it developed into something more, and it's really nice. And yeah, that's all I'm going to say about that situation. But yeah, we're both very happy. It's both of our first relationships as well. I think that's why I'm not going to share loads about it at the moment, because we're both still adjusting to it. And like, obviously I don't want to like shove a camera in his face quite yet. I don't want to annoy him too much. But yeah, all is good. So that's the first bit of news. And obviously when I upload this, it's going to be the 1st of December, I think. That means the question might come like, am I going to do vlogmas? Like last year I did mini vlogs every day on TikTok and YouTube shorts. And now I have put on polls on my Instagram and TikTok when I upload this, whether people want to see photos every day or like a video, like a mini vlog every day. I couldn't do like a 10-minute long video every day because I work full-time in an office. It'll probably be quite boring, but at least like a minute long video, I can do that. I can just film it throughout the day, do a voiceover at night, upload it. So I think that's what I'm leaning towards, is I'll see what the poll says, whether people would rather see photos, because I do understand like watching a little reel every day can be quite exhausting, especially when other creators are doing a similar thing. So, but I love Christmas, as you can see on my bedding, and yeah, I do want to do something every day in December, leading up to Christmas Eve anyway. So yeah, as I said, it's either going to be mini vlogs or photos every day on my Instagram, so make sure you follow my TikTok and my Instagram if you don't already. As I said, I wasn't sure whether to upload shorts or TikToks, because last year I did do both, but it was quite like, I mean, it wasn't too bad last year because I worked part-time, but obviously this year I work full-time, so I think whatever thing I choose to do is just going to be on one platform, because I would just burn myself out. But obviously I appreciate people don't follow me everywhere on like TikTok and Instagram and on here, so I'll try and like send out reminders saying, oh yeah, I've got this, because like you can still watch TikToks even if you don't have a TikTok account. So yeah, we'll see how that goes. But I do aim to upload something every day, whether it be a photo or a mini vlog of some kind. So that's Vlogmas. I got really in a rut with my Instagram, and Instagram is where I started this whole like social media journey. I just didn't really know what to post. But I've found like real ideas, so I think I'm going to be uploading more reels onto Instagram, because apparently Instagram likes reels more. But especially now the relationship is more public, I can upload pictures from when we were like going on our first dates and stuff, of like cool places to go. So yeah, I'll definitely be doing that throughout December, because I've got Christmassy content already, which is good. So yeah, I think that's what's going to go on with my social media. So I said, make sure you subscribe or follow my TikTok. One of the two, I'll put all the like little vlogs on. But I feel like Vlogmas was primarily started on YouTube, so I feel like I should be doing it on YouTube. But then I do understand I have way more followers on TikTok, so that's why I'm a bit like not sure yet. But I have a few days to decide when I'm filming this. And the next thing is, as we're coming up to the end of the year, I started a reading challenge on Goodreads, and my reading challenge for the year was 30 books, and I have surpassed that. So I'm on my 31st book now, and I wanted to just go through all the books that I've rated 5 stars, because if you are in need of a new read, or if you want to know if these books that are really overhyped are worth the hype. Although you might find it interesting, because I've said before, I love watching like Jack Edwards and Steph when they talk about books and everything. So yeah, let's go through my books. I will say I haven't got all the books to hand, like some of them I have sold on again, even though they were 5 stars. I just don't have the storage space for every book I've ever read. So yeah, I'll show you what I can. I'll try and insert pictures of the other books I have read. I'll start off with the ones I actually have next to me. So the first one I've rated 5 stars. I finished this at the beginning of the year. This is Sally Rooney, Conversations with Friends, and I much preferred this to Normal People, hence why I rated this 5 stars. But I do think the BBC let this down with the TV adaptation. I just thought the characters weren't portrayed very well. Even the writing didn't seem like quite right, even though it was based on a book. I was like, it just feels like 2 different stories in a way. I don't know, but I'll read the blurb. Oh, it's got a price tag on it. So it says, Frances is 21 years old, cool-headed and observant, a student in Dublin and an inspiring writer. At night she performs spoken word with her best friend Bobby, who used to be her girlfriend. When they are interviewed and they then befriended by Melissa, a well-known journalist who is married to Nick, an actor, they enter a world of beautiful houses, raucous dinner parties and holidays in Brittany, beginning a complex menage a trois, pretty sure that's how I say it. But when Frances and Nick get unexpectedly closer, the sharply witty and emotion-averse Frances is forced to honestly confront her own vulnerabilities for the first time. So yeah, it's kind of like almost like a love triangle in a way, but I just think this book is so beautifully written and really underrated. As I said, it's one of those books where like there's like little twists and turns, but it's so subtle in the way she like puts across details. Can you tell I'm really tired today because I had such a busy weekend? Like I'm just, but I really wanted to like update you guys what's going on in my life. So yeah, but this was my first 5-star read of the year. Next one is Loveless by Alice Oseman, who also wrote Heartstopper, which is a series on Netflix. And I've spoken about this book a lot, but I'm in love with this book. It was all sinking in. I'd never had a crush on anyone. No boys, no girls, not a single person I'd ever met. What did that mean? Georgia has never been in love, never kissed anyone, never even had a crush. But as a fanfic-obsessed romantic, she's sure she'll find her person one day. As she starts university, Georgia makes a plan to find love. But when her actions wreak havoc among her friends, she questions why romance seems to be so easy for other people but not her. With new terms thrown at her, asexual, aromantic, Georgia is more uncertain about her feelings than ever. Was she destined to remain loveless, or has she been looking at the wrong thing all along? And yeah, so it basically is a book that really dives into the themes of like sexuality, and I think it's the one book that it really has a true depiction of like British university, because I've read a lot of books about obviously students based in school and university, and I think some authors just don't quite get it, or they just don't quite get it in like the modern day. But this like looks at Snapchat, it talks about masturbation, it just like covers so many topics which are just so prevalent today. It's based at Durham University. I've never been to Durham University, but yeah, even the things they sort of talk about, like a typical Freshers Week, I just felt like it rung so true. Because I think Alice Oseman is around my age, or maybe a couple of years older, so she's obviously been through it fairly recently. But yeah, I would really recommend this book to anyone, and yeah, it really helped me on my journey trying to figure myself out as well. So yeah. The next one is The Tattooist of Auchwitz. So I tattooed a number on her arm, and she tattooed a name on my heart. In 1942, Lel Sokolov, I hope I'm saying that right, arrived in Auschwitz-Birkenau. He was given the job of tattooing the prisoners marked for survival, scratching numbers into his fellow victims' arms in indelible ink to create what would become the most potent symbols of the Holocaust. Waiting in line to be tattooed, terrified and shaking, was a young girl. For Lael, a dandy Jack the Lad, a bit of a chance, so it was love at first sight. He was determined not to only survive himself, but to ensure this woman, Gita, did too. So begins one of the most life-affirming, courageous, unforgettable and human stories of the Holocaust, the love story of the Tattooist of Auchwitz. So yeah, you wouldn't really associate the Holocaust with love, but I just think this is a really touching story. I think it's based on a true story as well. Yeah, based on the powerful true story of Lel Sokolov. So super interesting, and yeah, I read this really quickly, would highly recommend. And on the theme of books about this sort of time in history, I also read The Choice by Edith Eger. I have sold that book on, but I'll try and insert a picture of it. And in that book, it's about a woman who went to the concentration camps when she was a child, and she did survive them, but she becomes a therapist after. So it's kind of about her whole journey, like how those early experiences really impacted her and her work, and like again sort of her marriages as well. And I just found the fact it was about the Holocaust, you think it'd be a really depressing book, but it was so enlightening and just really gave you sort of your own like belief in yourself. It's really hard to explain, but I just found it such a refreshing read despite the sort of context it came from. So yeah, The Choice by Edith Eger, another 5-star read. Next one I have is Harry Potter and the Prisoner of Azkaban. So I bought all of the Harry Potter books at the beginning of the year. I was like, I really want to get through these because I've watched the films like millions of times, but I've never actually read the books, and I'm currently reading The Order of the Phoenix, which I'm also loving. But yeah, this is the first one I rated 5 stars. I think this book is number 3, yeah. And it's the first one I feel kind of gets more grown up and a bit more dark. So I'll read the blurb. Welcome to the night bus, emergency transport for the stranded witch or wizard. Just stick out your wand hand, step on board, and we can take you anywhere you want to go. When the night bus crashes through the darkness and screeches to a halt in front of him, it's the start of another far from ordinary year at Hogwarts for Harry Potter. Sirius Black, escaped mass murderer and follower of Lord Voldemort, is on the run, and they say he's coming after Harry. In his first ever divination class, Professor Trelawney sees an omen of death in Harry's tea leaves, but perhaps the most terrifying of all are the Dementors that are patrolling the school with their soul-sucking kiss. So, as I said, this is when the Dementors first come in, and as I said, it does get really dark, really tense, and I just absolutely loved it. The next one is The Vanishing Half. This was really heavily recommended by Jack Edwards. Stella and Desiree are identical twins growing up together in a small southern black community. Until age 16, they run away. Years later, everything about their lives is different. Their families, communities, and racial identities. One sister lives with her black daughter in the same southern town she once tried to escape. The other sister secretly passes as white, and her husband knows nothing of her past. Still separated by many miles and just as many lies, the fate of the twins remains intertwined. What will happen in the next generations when their own daughters' storylines intersect? So, as you can imagine, there's lots of things about race and power in this, and it's such a, again, it's a really eye-opening story. Obviously, I can't like relate to it in that way because I'm a white female, But yeah, just the way these two women, even though they were born into the same family, live such different lives due to who they marry is so interesting. And yeah, it's really clever how, as I said, their two daughters meet later on in the book, and it's about them like trying to discover like how their mums are linked and everything. And I just absolutely love this book. Again, I read it really quickly because it was so interesting. Yeah, would recommend it to anyone. And the other two books I've rated 5 stars. The first one was I'm Glad My Mum Died by Jeanette McCurdy. This was a celebrity memoir. Jeanette McCurdy was on iCarly and Sam and Cat. I'm sure you know who she is. And she basically writes a story about how her mum's life like sort of influenced her, and like how her death like changed her and things like that. So it does really touch on very hard topics like eating disorders and depression. So those are things that trigger you, but I probably wouldn't read it. But I did learn a lot from it in that sense, because I've never been through an eating disorder myself, but it did kind of help me understand it. And it was really interesting reading about sort of childhood fame as well, and like body image. And it was just crazy to me, because you see her as Sam on iCarly being super happy, a bit of a live wire, but the what she was actually going through in real life you would never know from the way she acted. And her writing skills are just insane. Again, she's got such a fine attention to detail. It's just an incredible book. Even if you don't know who she is really, it's such an interesting read. Yeah, again, would recommend it to anyone. And the final book is Verity by Colleen Hoover. So I have read 4 Colleen Hoover books now, and Verity is by far the best in my opinion. So Verity is quite a complicated story. So you meet the main character, who's called Laura, I believe. And she is like a writer, but she's really running low on money. And then an agent comes to her saying, oh, this woman has been involved in an accident. Could you finish off her story? And it's like really good money. She goes, okay, yeah, I'll take the job. So Laura then goes to live at a woman called Verity's house. And Verity is the author who has had the freak accident. And she can't really talk. She can't like move on her own or anything like that. But the husband and their child still live in the house, so Laura's trying to like adjust to that. And then she comes across a manuscript about the book she was like that Verity was writing. So you're sort of learning about Laura's life as well as Verity's life, and then a sort of relationship forms between Laura and the husband, and so much goes on. And there's such a huge plot twist at the end, which I was really trying to guess it, because everyone says, oh my god, it's a huge plot twist. But it does make sense, and you might guess, you might not. I nearly got it, but I was like, so close. But yeah, it was a really like thrilling book. It was kind of scary at parts. But yeah, again, I just found it so interesting. It was so different from other Colleen Hoover books, because the other I've read, It Ends With Us, It Starts With Us, and Ugly Love. I just found all 3 of those books had really similar characters. And I will say, the one thing I don't like about Colleen Hoover books is the main like girl character always like feel the exact same person. I just feel like she just picks up the same main character and puts them in each book. Like there's nothing really differs between them. But yeah, apart from that, I absolutely love Verity, and again, I'd recommend it to anyone. So yeah, I think that's this video. Really random, I know, talking about my relationship update, the books I've read this year, and vlogmas. But obviously, if I'm uploading content onto Instagram or TikTok or whatever, I probably won't be uploading long YouTube videos like this. You'll probably see me back with what I got for Christmas. But yeah, so just whilst I adjust new things and whilst I try and upload daily on whatever platform I choose, there probably won't be a long video like this for a while. So I hope you understand. But yeah, please like and subscribe for this video. And I also want to say thank you so much for all the lovely comments I've had on TikTok especially, and even Instagram DMs. I've only really mentioned it on stories briefly, like, oh, I'm in a relationship now, and I was like, oh my god, like, I'm so happy for you. And yeah, it just means so much that so many people out there like sort of care about me. Not that, obviously I know people care about me, but it's so lovely how people are so invested in my life in a positive way. So yeah, once again, thank you so much, and thank you to the special guy out there who's made me feel really good. So yeah, I'm gonna shut up now, I'm so cringe.